other, to share wisdom, to support each other. There is no selling in this call. There is no pitching, please. We try to make this as friendly, as engaging as possible. We try to make this like a forum where we support each other in terms of founding. The founding journey for me is a big learning curve, and I guess it could be the same for most of us here. So we're all growing, we're all learning every day. And a few months back, I attended multiple meetups with other founders, which, to be honest, I found was amazing for me to learn from other founders what they are doing, how they are solving their problems, how they are supporting other, business, and eventually partnerships, collaboration, support would happen organically in this community. So again, I saying no sales is direct sales. I don't really want to do this in this group. I want to keep the group engaged in the spirit of helping each other, but you're always welcome to connect with each other. If you want to share your LinkedIn on the chat and connect with one another, do one-on-ones, and support each other, see what you can solve for other founders. The meetup, we meet every 2 weeks, and different themes, different panel, and every time I try to bring speakers from multiple let's say industries, multiple diversity, that we can get to know what we're missing. So today I'm very, very proud to have Brian, Chris, Julie, and Muhammad. I'm not sure if Muhammad joined us already or not. I'll spotlight you guys first here so that everybody see you as on the screen, and then I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself, and then we'll kick it off. Ask the speakers, the panel speakers here, a few questions that I already shared with them that will warm up the discussion somehow, and then we'll open up with some other Q&A that founders or other founders who are attending would like to ask you based on your wisdom. So I'll give you this chance first to introduce yourself, share what you're helping, who you're helping, how you solve their problems, and tell us a little bit about yourself. So let's start with Julie here. Ladies first, always, and then we'll go to Chris and Brian.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you again, and Ahmad, for creating this community. I'm Julie. I'm co-founder and chief strategy officer for Scarlett Nova. This is a small consulting firm, boutique firm here in Ottawa. And we look to be a partner in the AI adoption, from readiness to strategy to pilots. And who we help is small to medium businesses here, as well as not-for-profit.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julie. Chris, do you want to go next?
Sure. Hi. Thanks so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this, and I love the community that you're building within this platform. I think we need it. My name is Chris Cumins. This is my 21st year giving speeches for a living full time. I have a small team. I'm based in Midtown Toronto, but I do business all over the world. When the lockdowns came, my speaking business was ground to zero. And I invested heavily in a studio in my basement, and then proceeded to have the biggest years of my career speaking at and producing large-scale live virtual events. Over the course of the last 20 years, I've interviewed about 1,000 people, especially in sales and leadership. I'm writing a book called The Human Side of Business, and I've noticed that humans are desperately needing to connect and feel connected, and they're not getting it. And then you and I show up in this environment like this, and we say, let's make human connection, but there's still something missing. So I went down some really deep rabbit holes on broadcasting, on influence, on persuasion, on sales, and I discovered there are certain things that you and I can do in this medium and using video to sell that are helping create human connection at scale. The largest event we've done to date was 10,000 people online on Zoom. But most of the time it's sort of 500 to 1,000 people who are making meaningful connection. We've been running 1, 2, and 3 day live virtual events for national sales meetings. And I feel like I'm strapped to duct tape to the front of a brand new industry that didn't exist. And I'm very excited to be here and share some of these insights.
I love it. Thank you so much, Chris. We're also very excited to maybe learn about your coming events and hopefully join it if it's available for us. Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Brian, thank you.
Yeah. So my name is Brian Fineberg. Again, I want to thank you, Ahmad, for facilitating this and all the participants. This all becomes part of another chapter in a journey here in being able to meet like-minded people and at the same time share insights. Currently, I am the COO, CTO, and founder of a company called Tomorrow Digital. We call ourselves the Tomorrow Company, and we were set up really as a Web3 AI infrastructure company, building what we think are the rails of tomorrow's capital market environments. Certainly at the intersection of AI and Web3, which has been part of, I would say, development and also a journey for the last 15 years in not only coining certain terms in artificial intelligence, but taking things to a completely different level, which is where we see the credible opportunities in not only in the businesses that we focus on, but the industries that we touch. We're very active in the ESG and carbon credit space, where really our objective is to create a net positive effect, not only on our balance sheet, but the way kind of the environments and these new interesting financial markets are being set up that are being driven by institutional influencers like the BlackRocks of the world, like the JP Morgans. And we believe that tokenization, it's coming to a theater near you if it hasn't showed up recently. And we have a very forward-thinking approach towards the way we not only innovate, but the way that our network is set up to converge with other networks. And I think this is the narrative for a lot of companies, especially in service-related businesses, especially in consulting. It always is about trying to find niches and creating contextual relevancy between you and your clients, or you and your community, and you and your audience. The more relevant something is, the higher context it has, especially in terms of the way that we view our own businesses. So thank you again, and look forward to connecting with you guys offline necessary.
Thank you so much, Brian. Okay, Mohammed, I think you're next. Thanks for joining us. I'm not sure if you have your camera on. We don't see you, so if you'd like to check. Yeah, now we can see you. Okay. Cool. So if you can just unmute and share a little bit about yourself, who you serve, what problem do you solve, that would be amazing.
Okay, cool. So let me first introduce myself. Quick intro. My name is Mohammed Maher. I used to work in electronics and home appliances industry since 2008 in Egypt and the GCC. I used to work in big retail chains, offline and online e-commerce platform, mainly around 8 years in Jumia, Egypt. Jumia is considered as Amazon Africa, if anyone knows about it. I used to work as a category manager or commercial head for it around 8 years. I faced a lot of issues during this period. Most of my experience came from this period when we was competing with Amazon and known Egypt. Now I'm working in. I used to shift to the GCC market since 3 years ago. And now I'm decided to build up my own business, build up my own e-commerce business, and it will be dedicated for home appliances and home electronics as well. Regarding to the problems that I'm not sure now if I need to discuss about the issues I have faced it or not. So let me know.
We'll get to that. No, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Thank you. Awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
You.
So thank you so much, everybody. Again, as you guys see, we have a nice diversity of founders and brains and expertise here in this room. So we're very lucky. And I also, want to, when I was working with Microsoft, we used to see how much worth a call is from the number of attendees attending. So every one of us here, at least, is $1,000 an hour. So this call is around like maybe 200,000, maybe $20,000 worth. So we definitely want to make it that worth, from engagement too. So again, I try to keep this as, short and crisp as possible and support everybody's engagement to get, the worth of this call by the great speaker that we have here. So the first question that I will ask the panel to, contribute with, and again, it's a icebreaker that we want to use to help us know you more. So the first thing is a mistake that either you've done in your journey to entrepreneurial, or you've seen other founders do regularly, and what would you do to help in that mistake or that error somehow? So whoever wants to go first, please go ahead. I'll go into the fourth panel, and then we'll move to the next question. Go for it, Jolie.
Yeah. So since you opened it up very broad about sharing personal experiences, I would say was picking your own path. So I say, I was 16 years in an organization from, engineering, ops, and then HR executive, and I was trained in a certain business sense. And then I wasn't sure if I was going to be a stray cat or a home cat. So I left the organization thinking, well, maybe I'll go back to corporate, or maybe I'll do my own thing. I wasn't quite sure. And it took me a while to figure out that I was going to stay a stray cat. But even once I decided to be a stray cat, you are bombarded with what you need to do. This is how you need to do it. And this is your funnel. And this is how a business works. And when it doesn't resonate with you, so the example is I call myself a generalist. The value I bring is the broad perspective of connecting business to ops, to technology, to HR. And so when people are like, no, pick one problem you're solving. And I had this visceral reaction to that. But then now, 4 years later, anti-niche and has niched and saying, okay, Julie walks her own path, and this is the value that she brings in that sense. So by not following everybody's advice and following your gut ended up being the most valuable kind of lessons learned, stumbling along the way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julie. Again, this is definitely one of the things that I personally, stumbled with in my journey, and definitely finding the right path, finding the niche is very important to grow. Thank you so much. Okay, Chris, do you want to go next?
Yes, I'm happy to. This is maybe a smaller mistake that was fairly easy to fix, but I didn't notice it was happening until it was pointed out to me. And everybody on this call can do something about it if you haven't already. So I noticed that my first live virtual event, my first time speaking at a conference on Zoom, I thought it was awesome. I bought a brand new laptop. It had 4 microphones, apparently. It had a nice camera, but it looked up my nose, and the lighting was so bad you couldn't see me because I had a white background with a white desk and a white shirt. I was leaning back, so I looked like I was 300 pounds. I'm not 300 pounds. And they couldn't hear me. So here's the little mistake. I didn't watch my own video through the lens of what is the audience's experience. Increase their volume, and they end up speaking like this in a lot of cases. And then you and I show up with awesome audio, and people say, I don't get it, man, but I could talk to you for ages. I don't know what it was. I've never been more than 40 minutes on a Zoom call and bored, and you and I just had an hour and a half Zoom call. How? And I'm like, because I got some good tools. Like I learned a bit about audio and broadcast, and I realized voice inflection matters, man. But on Zoom, most of us yell and we project our voice like this. So here's the mistake. I was trying so hard, not realizing that some of the tech was missing. And I made just a couple of investments in a great mic and a mixer and a couple other things. Boy, oh boy, does it increase your ability to influence through this medium. And I now use video via email, one-on-ones, and I send video DMs to people. It just lands so well, and it's such a great use of the technology. And you and I can stand out head and shoulders above so many other people who don't even know this because no one's coached them on it. So there's my little learning. I didn't realize that my audio was so bad that it was actually harming my credibility.
My God, yes. We can all attest to that. It's definitely a lot of different. Thank you so much, Chris. This is great wisdom.
Thank you.
Awesome. Brian, if you're ready, you're next.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep this one as close to my soul as possible because it's sacred territory. 2.5 years ago, I woke up one day completely immune to the fact that I had been under so much stress, financial, business-wise. Was I going in the right direction? Was I not going? I started a company 8 years ago that I was convinced at the time I was on the right track towards immortality, which again took a couple extra years to feel like I was getting close, but never really achieved. And I woke up and the entire right side of my face was paralyzed. It wasn't a stroke. It took me a couple minutes to realize it wasn't a stroke, but I'm not taking a chance. I'm going to the emergency room. And within that split second when it happened from point A to point B, the entire facial nerves in my face fried like an electrical charge. It was from an infection that I had caught in my brain, a freak thing, because my immune system was weakened. I was vulnerable, and the pressure wasn't helping. Mind you, this was the most painful period of my life physically. I wouldn't go on painkillers because I didn't want to go through any kind of, I would say, counter effect of opioids. I wanted to, because I had to work my way through this. I didn't miss a beat. I had to work through this pain. And the point I'm making here, mistakes that I made, I spent 3.5 years at my desk and I didn't get up to stretch. I didn't spend enough time in between my workloads to just take a deep breath, go watch the sunset, rebalance yourself, and be invigorated for the next chapter, next opportunities. And it took me 2.5 years to recover 96% of what I had lost. But I am still in a healing process. And part of that right now was a complete rebalance of my life, that I do now find a work-life balance that I did not have for the last 25, 30 years of, being in a gerbil race. But I feel great. I'm enthusiastic about what I'm doing, and just very appreciative of every day that I don't have to be where I was. It's always looking back and feeling like you accomplished something, but in all reality, you had no choice. It was either rise above it or get swallowed by it. So everybody go take a walk after this call. Okay, go stretch.
100%. Thank you so much,
Wise
Brian.
man.
Thanks, Brian. Again, sorry to hear about your situation, but again, this is definitely a great reminder.
It may have been the best thing that happened to me, in a weird way, even though I went through the pain and I had to go through the recovery. But it gave me an absolute realization, and it almost kind of propelled me to find the path, which in turn created this new company that we launched last year, and we're getting a lot of traction on it and a lot of attention to what we're doing. And so there's a meaning for everything. Not all of it's explained. If you ask ChatGPT, you might get a couple different answers there on what the meaning of life is, but the meaning is what we make of it. And certainly we have a lot of, I would say, positive influences around us to help kind of drive our desire for excellence. And that's it.
Thank you again, Brian. It's a great reminder for all of us here to, take care of our most important asset, our health, and definitely stop putting too much on the business, because sometimes again we think the more we put, the more we get out of it, and we forget our health. Thanks so much for the reminder. Muhammad, you're next.
Cool. Yes, I'm really excited to speak about my problem. Not problem, actually, what I have faced. In 2018, when I was category manager in Jumia Egypt, we noticed that every time we change the prices for any product, the competitors, mainly Amazon, changing the same price in the same time, matching with us. That was surprising for us. I remember I used to change the price for one product for 6 times a day. That was crazy. They are changing, matching on the same time. So we decided to have committee from the commercial planners, category managers, CEO, CFO, and we need to discuss how we can fix that. We decided to create Excel sheet manually, Google Doc, to add the top important SKUs. While I'm speaking about around 20K SKU, we selected only 1K SKU for each category, for all mixed categories. That takes a lot of time from us. Actually, 4 or 5 commercial planners is working like crazy on a daily basis to collect and getting the prices from the competitors, mainly Amazon, to make price survey. That was in 2018. And then I opened my Google. I wrote how we can fix the prices immediately when we compete with Amazon. I found that there is analytic tools, a new service companies called analytic tools or shelf price analytic tools, who can serve you if you give them the links. They can do it immediately, just by only one click a day. You are going to download Excel sheet with infinity SKUs, number of SKUs, not only with one competitor, maybe up to 5 or 6 competitor. Okay, and you can download it and you can match easily. So I remember one value I have learned in my company, which was simple is smart. It's a very simple issue. We spent a lot of times, hours, efforts, people, time. All of that could be removed if we just ask someone like Google, okay, to know how we can fix it. Once we did it, the conversion rate for I'm speaking around from 13 to 20K SKU. The conversion rate for the whole company increased around from 0.3 to 0.6, this is really huge in company competing with Amazon in this amount of SKUs. And regarding to the sales, became double in revenue and even in items sold. And guess what? That has been compensated by the suppliers. I'm receiving the email on a daily basis telling me that Amazon reduced the selling price, so I need to match. I'm taking the link for Amazon, send it to supplier. I need to match now, and you should compensate me. They did. So it's very simple and easy. I increased my sales, achieved my KPIs, zero cost, almost zero cost for me. So again, simple is smart. This is the message I would like to share with the whole attendees here, that simple is smart. One step, simple, can solve your or can help you to save time and effort. Thank you.
Great wisdom. Thank you so much, Muhammad. And again, definitely knowledge is power when we use it, and we definitely need to take ourselves away from our own comfort zone sometimes to learn about new things. Awesome. Cool. So the next question to our panel, one big leverage that most founders can use in 2026 to grow their business, based again on what you see in your expertise. We'll start again with Julie, if you're okay.
This might not sound like the sexiest answer that people are looking for, but I'm a big fan of critical thinking. And I think, especially in the age of AI, the ability to understand your mental models, understanding decision making, understanding strategy, and understanding those from a fundamental perspective, from frameworks and mental models, and as well as your own levers and understanding your own gaps, I think could only be really powerful as you try to use AI, because the risk of that cognitive offload is real, and your true differentiator is truly how you piece things together. So might not be the sexiest thing. I've been teaching critical thinking for 15 years, and there's this assumption that everybody knows how to do it well, and they do. But I think it's appreciating that there's also always another level you can go to. And especially now with AI, it's just a whole different ball game. So that's, I think, what I think would be a strong lever.
Amazing. And if you have a story for, one of the clients that you worked with, that would be also amazing. Again, if there's no stories now, then it's okay.
Yeah, let me think about it from a critical thinking perspective. Let me think about that.
No worries. We'll come back to you then.
Sure.
Okay, Chris.
Can you state the question again, please?
Yes, sure. So what is the one biggest leverage that most founders can use today to grow their business from what you're seeing with your clients or, your industry?
There's no part of your life or your business, listen for the double negative, there's no part of your business or your life that doesn't get better when you get better at speaking to a group of people. Like every part of your life, every part of your business will improve. Like I can say that with absolute certainty. The ability to sell one-on-one is important. The biggest thing that I've seen founders do very well is to really learn the ability to sell not one-on-one, but one-to-many. And how do you do that? Well, you become effective on the platform, but you also get really good at causing emotion. Now, I do a lot in B2B. I don't do much in the B2C world, but I've noticed something. People say, oh, well, B2B, there's no emotion in a sale. Well, respectfully, there is. Human beings are fascinating creatures, and it's well documented that we buy based on emotion and we justify on logic. If you want to persuade a human being to do a thing, we have to stir some emotion in them. Now, this is from my perspective as a guy who gives speeches for a living for the last 20 years. This is my 21st year. But I found founders who are able to stand on a stage and tell a story and create emotion in people, my gosh, are they effective persuaders. So if you can persuade a room of people to do a thing, I call it the call to action, right? It's my favorite movie right now anyways, got to be Maverick or Braveheart. They're sort of tied. But the Braveheart, there's a guy named Mel Gibson. He's at the end. He says, sons of Scotland, they may take away our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. And he brings, 100,000 guys into battle. If you can create a call to action like that at the end of a speech in front of 30 people or in front of 3,500 people, people will run to do business with you. Best skill development I've seen in founders is they go on a stage like, how did the keynote go? I was fine, I guess. No one died. It was okay. But you ask people afterward, like, yeah, I wouldn't have paid for that keynote. And on the flip side, a founder goes up and speaks for free and people say, my gosh, I would have paid to watch that. I would watch that again. There's something about the way that they presented. Man, I just believe them. I don't know what it is. And I do. It's because they were authentic. They were super calm on the stage because they did it a bunch and they learned how to tell really engaging stories that stirred a bit of emotion.
I love it, Chris. And again, I'm growing in that space myself. I was very shy. I was not able to speak in front of this group before, but I've learned by practicing. I've learned by doing mistakes. I've learned by getting myself out of the comfort zone somehow, and do the mistakes and learn from them. That's how we all grow. Thanks again for.
Can I follow?
Yeah,
up? Because I want to riff on that. I was in my early 20s. I'm in my early 50s now. When I was in my early 20s, I saw the former CEO of a Coca-Cola bottling division give a talk. Afterward, I walked up to him in my nice suit, super scared kid coming out of school. And I said, sir, nice to meet you, sir. What's one piece of advice you could give me that, you think would maybe help me in my career? He said, Chris, every opportunity you get to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, do it. because that is the only time we grow. And this, to you and I in this call, like, this is not rocket science. We've read a whole bunch of the books but 20-year-old Chris, this was rocket science. Make yourself deliberately uncomfortable so you grow. He said, let me ask you, what's something you want to do in your career? I said, my gosh, I love what you did. I'd love to be a speaker one day. He said, does that make you afraid? I said, absolutely terrified. He said, if someone offered you a microphone right now, would you say yes to speak on it? And I said, no, actually, I'm too nervous. I'm not ready. He said, here's what you got to do. From now on, every time someone offers you an opportunity to speak, no matter how terrified you get, you have to say yes. Can you promise me that? And I thought, well, I'll never see this guy again. I can promise. I did promise him. A week later, I got a call from a friend of mine that said, hey, Chris, we had a speaker cancel. Can you come speak at the thing? I said, yeah, sure, I can come speak at the thing. Then she said, there's 1,000 people there. I didn't sleep for 3 days, my friends. I didn't sleep. I got there. I almost didn't give the speech. I almost didn't want to go up. I was like, I'm not ready. I learned the nerves never go away. So if you're trying to hide from the nerves, and if the nerves are your reason for not getting better at it, it's not going to work. I get nervous before every speech, and I've been doing this 21 years in a row. So push yourself into opportunities to give speeches, and then watch your video of it and have some people walk you through what worked and what didn't. That's a muscle that will always help your business, in my opinion.
100% agree. Thank you so much, Chris. Brian, if you're ready.
Yeah, I think this goes back to what Julie talked about. It's about having self-awareness, or more self-awareness. We need to be in almost a continuous stage right now of resetting our thought processes a little bit because of the things that are going on around us. And sometimes it's important to take a step back so that we can take a step forward. And especially with all this technology that, we are all engulfed in, and no industry is immune to it. And we just need to pay attention to ourselves a little bit better, understand ourselves, and we will solve the challenges that we have.
Brian, can I ask, can you give me an example of how we can do that in our life? Like, I hear the words, we need to reset our thought process continually. I'd love to understand. Tell me how, because I see every problem that can be solved with speaking, and I'm like, I got to think bigger. So,
well, in the AI world, we all talk about data in, data out. If we're not going to put good data in, we're not going to get good data out on the equation. So, my example really has to do with testing ourselves and training ourselves, self-awareness. So for those of you that, have a half a dozen AI tools accessible and available, and even though probably another 10 or 15 in our lives that use AI in driving our, not only our social existence, but our business, LinkedIn, and so forth like that, go into something like Notebook LLM. Test yourself and build things, create things, be objective against it, and then share it, especially if you're going after something. I recently put a video out on our carbon utility token, and it wasn't, it was a very sophisticated video because it was a very sophisticated topic that had a lot of technical layers to it. So even being able to decipher that and come across with a promotional video to create awareness, I feel like I created the next Michelangelo. It's a Rembrandt. I couldn't have said it better. I couldn't have scripted it better, but I had to feed it a very extensive technical document for them to kind of understand what, or the AI to understand what the angle was. And if you can go through these processes, and this is how I design web environments, UIs, UXs today, it's not like it was even a year ago or 2 years ago. We go in and we have ideas that now can become live, living, and breathing applications very, very quickly, but it's all about curiosity and it's discovery. So if we can try to create discovery for somebody, we have authenticity. If we look for discovery in ourselves, we do find some truth. in everything that we do, but we need to be aware that what it is and what we're trying to achieve. So I'm just, I've been around the sun 61 times. So, I feel like I achieved a certain amount of success in my life by even making it this far, but I'm looking forward to the next chapter right now. And through all this disruption that all is going on in data centers and quantum resistant environments and AI and Web3 and all these buzzwords that are being thrown around, new unicorns are being minted every single day. And they're not taking the traditional path of having 100 engineers try to solve a problem. They're being done with small amounts of people that are like-minded, that can direct technology in the direction that it wants to go. So you never know what you're capable of unless you put yourself to the test, and that is the key, I think, to achieving better performance out of your own activities. I'm not from a major corporation. I've never spent any time in any Sigma 6 course. So I don't even know what a green belt is or a blue belt is, but nevertheless, I think you have to go out to the street sometimes and smell it, right? What it actually is, as opposed to living in a laboratory all the time, testing assumptions. You got to test things against the backdrop of real world dynamics. And in our world, data is that gold. We can find it, we can, convert it.
Love it. Thank you so much, Brian. Again, great wisdom. I love it. I love how we're all growing here. This is the beauty of this community. And again, when I worked for Microsoft, I used to lead a big community of 7,500 employees worldwide. And I personally learned a lot. Again, I grew a lot. I became much better version of myself than I was before leading that community. So again, this is one of the main things why I'm doing this community for founding and founders and helping each other. Thank you so much, Brian, Chris, Julie. Muhammad, you're next if you want to go for the question. Do you want me to repeat that question again, or you have it already?
No. I know it. Just need to add quick tip. Actually, in nowadays, everyone is using the AI. Correct. That's true. But no one thinking about creating his own AI. For example, I just need to give you an example now. No one is thinking to use his data. Everyone has company. I'm sure that he has calls, historical calls, documents, meetings, etc. Why we don't build up our own assistant AI, customized AI, where the competitor cannot compete with you in that? Okay, so I think the world is changing now. Everyone thinking AI, but we really need to update our thinking strategy. So I'm giving an advice, especially in no coding world now. There is no codes. Anyone can make his own program. Okay, tools like LangChain is very useful for anyone who has historical data. He can use. I'm going to copy and paste this website, this amazing website in the chat here, so that anyone can use it and anyone can create his own app or his own AI. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak, Mr. Ahmed.
I have a question to Muhammad, if you don't mind, Ahmed, if I may.
Okay, go for it.
Muhammad, so can you give a little bit of details about how you used it, or just a general example? What did you do exactly? Because this is an interesting topic. Customizing an AI to your own needs is really, really interesting. So I just wanted to learn more how you did it.
Okay, I didn't do the final example because I cannot use my ex company data. I need to have my own data for my own company, so I don't have final model. But I read about this topic. Okay, I'm sharing with you here the link for LangChain. This website you can put with or you can upload all data you need, and all data you want to create as your assistant AI, and he's going to make your own your own app. When you ask this app to get any information you need, he can give it to you immediately. So I cannot simplify, make it simple and easy to reply you now, because I don't have final model to be able to be honest with you to share. But please visit this website, read about it, and I think you can get the whole idea.
Thanks,
Mohammed. And I think, again, this is definitely where, offline connections could happen. You guys can connect offline and share some wisdom together. Brian, I see you have your hand raised.
I just wanted to make 2 comments, because this is very, very relevant to the world of, let's say, agent breeding, which is going on right now. It's like, why have only one agent when you can have 10,000 of them working on our behalf? Well, if 10,000 are not marching to the same beat of the drum, right, they're all going off and they're anarchists. But getting back to the point, I've had an opportunity for 3 years now to work with LangChain. Okay, built a number of projects on there. And again, cut your teeth on stuff like that. Challenge yourself, even if you're not tech savvy or even understand AI. The AI is there to help you build these things. And if you can articulate what you want something to do, it will find the solution and bridge the gap. The other conversation regarding OpenClaw, okay, there's again a viral aspect to OpenClaw right now, but there really is no attention to privacy and or security vulnerabilities that come in with environments like that. So always be careful. Sometimes it's better to get a premium subscription to avoid some of the, I would say, some of the other potential things with a freemium. But like Mohammed just said, test yourself on it, challenge yourself. Go to YouTube, watch a video or 2, go to ChatGPT and create prompts. So what I do when I design something or I'm building something right here, we're using some pretty sophisticated code generation tools these days to be able to go build applications. Those applications then go through an internal Q&A process that's all run by AI, even before it gets to the security threshold test. Because again, you don't want to build something that is going to get flogged in SOC 2 compliance or in HIPAA compliance or any other application that you may be looking at. And put yourself to the test. And then maybe we should do that as a little group exercise, right? Everybody go to LangChain and build one agent app for the next meeting, and we can show it off in the group.
I love it. I love it. Thanks, Brian. And again, the technology is definitely helping us maybe go. I think this is a good segue for my next question for you as a panel. So in this digital world of AI agents and bots and everything, how do you balance between the human part and the technology part in your business? And again, everybody is different. There's lots of different schools. So I'm curious to learn from you as experts in your area. What do you do to balance that kind of, push and pull that we're all bombarded with today? Julie, do you want to go first, or if you want, I can go to Chris if you would like to be second.
Yeah, I was trying to think of that answer, and I think we have to be honest that we're probably still figuring that out. I think, a lot of people are saying, as I said, you should do the critical thinking hard models with you first, and then you go to AI, let's say in the generative AI sense for decision making, et cetera. But to be honest with you, me and my co-founder, like, we battle this all the time. Like, he is the typical tech founder running super fast, getting a whole bunch of stuff done via AI, and saying like, look, here's our sales playbook, here's this and here's that, and I built this already, and then I'm that annoying one going, okay, let's really think about this. Like, I come from that deep thinking, strategy, critical thinking, do all your ducks align. So I think the answer is a bit of both. I think what I realized, I'm learning a lot from him in terms of like iterate fast and learn and get a draft out to then, attack it, so to speak, or improve it. At the same time, it's also, yes, AI will allow you to do so many things fast. But if you don't have that, again, that human judgment in that kind of sense, then you're just creating all that AI slop, right? So I think, yeah, I'm not sure I fully answered, but I think we're still learning how to properly balance those two things.
I love it. And if you may allow me, I just again want to follow up with you, Julie, about, from the strategic point of view, how do you solve this with, founders or business owners, how to get them back on strategy, or let's say ground rules, the basics of what are you trying to solve, what are you trying to build? Because again, sometimes we try to put technology to solve something that's already solved somehow, somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's funny. When I attend my first hackathon in the fall, and I didn't think I belonged there because I'm not a developer, right? I'm not the one that's going to sit there and do a whole bunch of things. But they said, oh, there's a place for you that comes from like that business side, people side. And I was like, why? And they're like, because they just want to build things. They have no link to any use of it in the business world. So you could help with that kind of judgment of like, where does this fit and who would buy this and why? And is this a big market? And really going back to those like critical questions. And then you realize once you sit there and you ask these questions, they're like, oh yeah, right. How do we do that? Right? Where does this fit? I'm like, you could go get this data. And I know it sounds simple, but again, it's also appreciating that people are doing what they do best. They love the tech. They want to play with the new toys, right? Everything's shiny and new and great. But then again, how do you make that plan survive? So I think it's just really good questions of making it fit in reality and understanding the terrain that you're navigating. So even if there's a business that's built a strategy, a lot don't. They just kind of run and think they have somewhat of a strategy. Then it's understanding that it's not just a piece of paper and it's not something that's going to sit on your shelf, but how do you make it constantly check in with the reality? Because our reality means it's going to change all the time, right? And so having that external awareness going, okay, what needs to shift, and almost making that like a regular habit, a part of a core trait in whatever process, your daily stand-ups, of understanding the fit to reality part. And understand, think of even those that come from corporate, right? Sometimes you have this big strategy. Do you think everyone understood what that meant for their day-to-day job? I see that still play out in organizations, that they can't translate what it means day to day. So I still think if you still haven't done that work, I mean, that's where you're going to get that friction and hiccups and, alignment. I think when your question, how do you keep everybody aligned? Well, that's part of it.
I love it. I love it. And again, they have that saying, that carpenter always solve problems with the hammer. That's what most engineers do. Yeah. So, but again, thank you for bringing that wisdom.
And can I just say, that's why I'll plug the generalist. The generalist doesn't have a tool or a hammer or like a whatever. They're just like, here's all the tools, here's all the specialists, which one fits best, right? And so understanding you need those specialists that says, I know super well how to use this hammer and I know super well how to use that saw. We need that. But then where do you have your generalist that says, okay, well, if we do a bit of hammering here and a bit of sawing here, and then we can bobble that together, who is that kind of agnostic person that doesn't have a tool preference that's helping it weave all the domains together to fit the real world?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Good segue for you, Chris, to maybe share again, you speak on stages all the time. You host big events. So, I'm sure, some of those events have engineers or people from tech who are always excited about, technology. What's your take about, the balance between the human part and technology these days?
I think that's a great question, and I want to riff on Julie's thing about the hammer. Like everybody, all of my buddies know. Yeah, Chris thinks all problems can be fixed by giving a better speech. Yeah, I know. I just because I've seen a lot, but yes, I do notice that when you get very technical people at a conference, they're really focused on like technical. I was asked to speak at a crypto conference called Consensus 2025. About 20,000 people or so went through the doors of that place. I spoke there last May. I got a call from a meeting planner who said, Chris, I found one. I said, oh, cool. She said, yeah, they called me and said, we want to move fast and break stuff. We want to have like an innovation stage. And so I went into this crypto conference where nobody is doing human connection. Like nobody is standing on the stage connecting humans. They're all, here's the rails, here's the, tokenization, here's the just everything was tactic, and software. And I showed up. There was a lineup of people afterward. They're like, I've been to lots of crypto conferences. This was refreshing. So you might ask, like, what did I do? I created meaningful human connections at scale. I essentially gave them, it's not rocket science, but I gave them permission to meet people who chose to attend that session. And it sounds silly, but I said, take a piece of paper for a second, write down your crypto origin story. Just write down like in 3 or 4 sentences, like your first time you noticed crypto was a thing. You're like, that's a thing. What we all have that moment. So I said, write that down, take a couple of notes. Okay, cool. You got those notes? Good. I want you to glance around the room, make eye contact with someone you do not know. Hold that eye contact for longer than is normal, it starts to feel uncomfortable. And that way, you're both looking at each other. Now, just so we're clear, I'd also set up the, push yourself outside of your comfort zone stuff before doing this exercise. So I said, you're going to feel very, very uncomfortable. Your job is to go meet that person and ask them their crypto origin story, and you do the same. I did this facilitated, very deliberate collision stuff at Consensus, and the feedback was, I had a call from someone 6 months afterwards, said, Chris, you know what? I go to tons of networking things, tons of conferences. I still remember the 8 people you forced me to meet, and I still have the selfies with them. So here's what we need, man. Well, not just man, here's what we need, my friend. Like we need to deliberately create moments where humans can connect with other humans and be real. And that's why I said yes to this panel. That's why I said yes to you. It just like you're doing it, right? You're not doing, this isn't like a 500-person webinar thing. This is a bunch of people who can very likely all meaningfully connect and probably lead this event as buddies or at least as acquaintances, right? So I believe very strongly that in this rush to automation, we're skipping the human connection piece, and so many humans are hurting and so many are starving for connection. I wrote down 3 words. They want to be seen, they want to be heard, and they want to feel understood. If you can help create that level of connection with humans, you'll get more productivity out of them. You'll likely get more of their wallet share. You're like, this is, I think, going to be missing more and more in our interactions from 2026 moving forward. So there's a great opportunity for you to stand out by realizing that, I'm dealing with a human being. They probably have aging parents. They may have a kid going through drug issues. They may have health scare. They may have financial challenges. But if you can connect at a human scale or a human level and then do so meaningfully at scale, I've watched it have really positive impact.
I love it.
I think it also comes down with technology in a way that we need to make our technology a little bit more humane and have some humanity attached to it. That a person is not too far away, or a community is not too far away, that we're not just giving in to a machine or a machine answer. So I think it's very, very important to kind of keep that in perspective, that there are AIs now that have personalities and they're quirky. They don't always wake up on the right side of the bed. But it's interesting when you can develop that into a relationship that you have with your AI. I think that becomes humane, even though it's a little bit twisted. I spend more time sometimes with ChatGPT than I do with my wife, and she doesn't, appreciate that. But, anyway.
Who, your ChatGPT doesn't appreciate it, or your wife doesn't?
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
I'm kidding.
Jealous all the time. I texts me in the middle of nowhere. Why aren't you calling me? In different things that we've created, we try to also add some humanity and some humor to it. So you can ask, while you're in the middle of a technical document, you can break it up by asking for a blockchain or an AI joke, and the AI will spit one out. And again, it's kind of ridiculous, but we're trying to make a point here, okay? Don't have to take everything so seriously, okay? AI is here to stay. It's going to grow. It's going to get smarter. The governments of the world are going to get involved. There's going to have to be standards at some point, right, that are established. But in all reality, you know, we want to push humanity forward. And this may be a way to do it, or it may not be. I don't know yet. The verdict is not out yet, but it's sure helping a lot of people, I think.
100%. Again, the consultancy answer is always it depends on how you use it. So definitely, there is always good and bad in every side you know, of evolution somehow. But thank you, Brian, again. Great wisdom. Awesome, Muhammad. Again, the same question, and then we'll take the group selfie, and then we'll open up for Q&A for the attendees to ask our panel, you know, some questions about what's, you know, in their mind. Muhammad, again, the balance between human side and technology, how do you tackle this in your business?
Okay, cool. Actually, I think it's very hard to answer you, to be honest with you. As we just mentioned now, AI is working most of the stuff. If I'm giving you an example about the now AI can buy and sell and work as a broker and let you win money while you didn't even open it or giving it any order. So I think now the world is going to shift and use AI to win money. So that means that will reduce the human inputs. Okay, so I'm giving you an example. If I'm broker company, okay, I'm CEO for the broker company, can sell and buy stocks. Okay, and I have employee who do it or used to do it on a daily basis, but AI is making it better for him. I'm going to use AI instead of him. Unfortunately, this is business. This is how the business owner and the founders and CEOs should think. We should think to reduce our cost and getting the most revenues we can get. So I'm going to replace him with AI. And the question is, I think about that, but I think the only one who can answer this, the guy who used to work this job since 15 or 20 years ago. Yes, he has experience. He can do it good, but not better than AI. So I think he should ask himself only one question. Does AI can replace me or not? If the answer is yes, I think the guy should search now for or try to shift his career where AI cannot replace him for now. I'm really sorry, maybe I'm a bit harsh, but actually this is how the business should go. So I think now AI is replacing everyone. We need to ask ourselves, all of us, does AI can replace me in my career or not? If the answer is yes, we should find some another career where AI cannot replace us.
Yeah, again, definitely, you know, AI can replace some parts of, you know, work. I don't think it can totally replace humans. There is things that they cannot do, like taste and smell and emotions and you know, intuitive thinking and critical thinking. But again, it's definitely a struggle of these days, you know, that most people are struggling between the human part and the technology part. So anyway, again, this is really an amazing discussion. You know, this could, you know, continue for more time, and I think we're all passionate about, you know, AI somehow, or at least excited about the technology that is evolving, that is maybe increasing our overwhelmness or reducing our, you know, work side. But I think this is time for selfie. If you guys would like to join this selfie, I'll put the view on together mode so that everybody who has camera will take the shot, and then we'll move again to Q&A for the attendees to ask the panel questions. So I'll say 1, 2, 3, and I want to see a smile when you're ready. So 1, 2, 3, and smile. Yeah, and if I don't see hand raised, I'll start asking questions.
Yeah, so I guess I can go then. I think one thing might be maybe uncomfortable would be the outside your comfort zone, because I heard that my whole corporate life, and then I decided not to take that seriously, and I decided to be good at what I do and be the best at what I do, and stay in what I do, and not go explore something I don't want to do. So I'm, more, I did that my whole life, and I tried going left, right, up, down because of the corporate world. So you should do this and that, and been all these seminars about the circle, and here, and then the circle there, and that circle. I decided that no, that's not for me. I like to have I like to enjoy what I do and get better at it all the time. So that's another way to look at life, right? You don't always have to push yourself into left, right, up, down. Not interesting for me. Don't care. And then I got the reputation of being like a train, because I just go, because I know what I'm doing. And then people, HR would tell me, slow down. You got to take people with you when you leave the station. If you just go. I'm like, well, okay. Well, I had to learn that part of it. And of course, the work-life balance on that part. I worked in Europe a lot, and being the American on the team, a lot of I got a taste of how to enjoy life over work, because we have a reputation as, and they told me directly to me when I got to Europe, we don't have your values like you have. You just, this life is more important than the job. So just understand that part of being over here. We're not like you. just do it in 37 hours every week. If you can't do it like that, then you don't have your team dimension on the right size. Hire more people, and quit abusing people to work long hours. Work 37 hours. So you're a bad manager if you don't do that. So I learned a lot more about how to respect people's lives. I won't touch AI because that's, you guys got that covered. But I got clients every day saying, we want more AI. I said, we have it. What do you want? I don't know. I just want more. So I do that all the time. I sell software. Everyone wants AI software. They don't know what they want, but they want it. A lot of it.
Awesome. Thanks, David. And if you have a question to the panel, if any of the panel can help you with your business, let me know. Otherwise, I'll move to the next hand raised. Good. Okay. Awesome. Julia, sorry if I missed your name properly.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. And thank you, Ahmed, so much for the invitation of joining this group. This has been so far tremendous, tremendously helpful on my journey. So a little bit about me. My name is Julia. I'm a CEO and leadership coach. My program is Soft Skillable, and my primary audience is technically minded and engineers, professionals that I've moved into leadership and perhaps aren't quite as aware around the people side of things, because our training is woefully inadequate when it comes to connecting people and understanding the power of that. It's not tangible. It's not calculatable. I know that's not a word, but that's what I like to go with. And so it's seemingly difficult. So I love the work that I do, I think, is the bottom line. I definitely feel like I have found my niche and the work that really does get me up in the morning. My biggest challenge, and I'm so curious to hear from you, is I'm a team of one, sales and marketing. Now, I've gone down the rabbit hole of, you need to use LinkedIn, you need to use Facebook, you need to use all these social media outlets. But what I've found so far that has worked for me the best is leaning into my existing network. Now, I know that's limited. And so I'm so curious to hear more about kind of your experiences and where some of those opportunities might be, considering, one, I don't like it very much. I'd rather be serving my clients, but I want more clients. So, any tips on where I can really focus some of my time and energies would really be helpful.
I'd like to jump in there if I can quickly, because I started in on LinkedIn in 2005, I think, in one of the beta teams. I always have to clean up my list because I can't add more contacts. So I'm at 32,000, I think, right now, followers, which, again, in my eyes, it was respectable, but I never abused that community or those followers. which I never inundated them with offers and messages, because I'm sure we're all aware we get messages all day long. LinkedIn now has become one big spam machine if you don't know how to filter that out. But using your internal network, and I would say a 1 degree of separation, it's not only your first contacts, but it's the ability to get to your second tier contacts, will start to build an audience that you need to spend a little time every single day managing, that being prompt with responses, having your calendar set up. And when you do feel a little adventurous and you want to get a little marketing, a little volume, contact me and I'll show you kind of how we go out and connect with about 300 to 500 people a day without infringing upon LinkedIn's policies. But that's where the money is. Okay. If you can get between that first and second layer, you can grow your business incrementally through referrals and also through opening up new relationships and converting a certain amount of those relationships into clients.
Thank you. And so is that a specific outreach strategy just for those first tier and sort of second connections?
It's all about testing, Julia, with your messaging and kind of what the results are. If you send out to 3,000 people and nobody responds, well, I would say you probably have a problem with your messaging. But if you test off small and it comes back with some good results, you can step on the gas a little bit and expand that. And create content that is relevant, thought-provoking content, industry reports where you can use AI as an impetus for it, but make sure that you have human supervision on it and you are expressing yourself in that, and disclose the fact that you've used AI to create some of your content. People will appreciate that because you're trying to create an alternative thought process here to catch somebody's attention. You don't have to give them a book, right? But a short blog post or something like that to make them think twice about something will revert back to you, and they'll think about you when they do it.
Thank you.
Julie, go ahead.
I'd just like to start with a question saying, you say you want a few more clients, how much? I mean, you getting just a little bit, 10, 20% more business is a vastly different strategy than like, I want to double and triple the size of my business by this year, right? So I think those, like, some are like, oh, a little bit more would be nice. That could be very different what that looks like, of like, I want to be the next queen of whatever and really massively grow. Okay, well, then listen to all the massive strategies, but it's being clear on that, right? Which means you need something aggressive, which means then it goes to this discomfort perhaps of doing all the things, of really putting yourself out there and having those ask and those kind of things, right? So, okay.
Thank you.
Julia, I'm poking around your LinkedIn and I'm trying to figure out, when you say you want more customers, because Julie, you got me thinking here about Julia's request for clients. And then Brian said, hey, we can get tons of volume. And by the way, dude, I'm in awe of your LinkedIn numbers. Like I am, that's pretty epic. Julia, I'm curious, how many new customers would be a grand slam home run for the next 3 quarters? So Q2, 3, and 4 of 2026. How many new customers would like blow your mind? And then what would be I'm glad I hit that. So I'm looking for 2 numbers there.
Yeah. And I think maybe, and this is where I'm less clear, right now I'm at a point where I'm still not paying myself. And so, where I have training, having another 30 clients in my training program would be wonderful. Coaching clients, I can probably take on another 10 before my calendar's full. And then there's another area in which I'm starting to explore, and that's more in the organizational excellence side of things. So developing the frameworks and the structures for organizations to be able to align their people so they can focus on the thing that they do best, but perhaps have grown really quickly and don't have those structures, some simple stuff like roles and responsibilities documents, for example. So having maybe 2 clients with a big project like that, I think for a year, I would consider successful. And if I'm able to replicate that, then I think I have a business.
I'm reminded of the global market that might be available to you, but also you might not need like an influx of 13,000 leads by Wednesday yet. I mean, once you get a scalable thing that's automated, you can do some stuff. That's like pour gas on that. I'll offer a counterpoint to some of the things that have been said here, and that is, in your current network, there are people who are fans who may not have bought from you because they're too close to you, but they're fans of yours. And Brian nailed it, in my opinion, when he's talking about like the second degree. My buddies from undergrad do not hire me to give keynotes. They're like, buddy, I would pay you to stop talking. Like, just don't. No. Like, we go water skiing, we drink at cottages. That's fun, but I'm too close to those folks. But the second connections that they have, and the third connections, that there's a credibility transfer that happens, right? And my whole business has grown organically by doing an awesome job on a stage, and then people hire me. So I've got room for 2 more clients, but I'm doing larger deals now. My keynotes are 20 and 30,000 for a 60 to 90 minute talk. I'm doing some larger gigs like 150, 200,000. I don't have like I'd take, 4 more keynotes this year would be amazing. It'd be awesome, because right now I'm pretty much at capacity. So I don't have a marketing problem, but I have found that when I double down on like on one-on-one human stuff, when someone makes an introduction, you say, thank you for the introduction, let's have a call. That doesn't work. What works really well is recording a video to them with like a screen grab of their LinkedIn and saying, thank you for the introduction. And I can walk you through this offline for fun, for free, just as buddies anyway. But the idea is you send real human video to people via email and via LinkedIn DM once someone else has made that intro. It just deepens the friendship, deepens the trust transfer way faster than sending a PDF or an article. So if you're looking for, 3 to 5 new clients in the next little bit, in my opinion, I don't think you should go all in on like getting the book into bookstores and, tripling down on LinkedIn outreach. In my opinion, it's the folks that already know you who can open doors. One example, I put on my to-do list for 2026 that I want to do more international speaking engagements. I talked to a friend of mine who said, I got to introduce you to so-and-so, and then so-and-so. I spoke at the Australia Professional Speakers Convention virtually. I spoke at the Singapore Professional Speakers Convention virtually. I did the opening keynote for the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers, and doors are flying open. But those were all individual humans who were like, hey, this dude's legit. He's going to be great on the stage. You should totally take a chance on him. They were not me saying, to whom it may concern, please can you put me on your stage and potentially destroy your professional reputation if I suck? Like that's a problem. So in your case, Julia, and by the way, Brian, I'm still envious of your influence on LinkedIn. I want to learn from you. For Julia's use case, I think, my gosh, like let's get you doubling down on the people you know already who already think you're amazing, and then transfer that trust.
Well,
just to add one thing there also,
thank you.
In trying to manage growth and scale, you want to do everything in increments. So if your goal is to bring in 2 clients, bring those 2 clients in, but don't neglect any of it, because they become important, because you can replicate that formula. And if you can replicate it, we all know there's a lot of attrition out there anyway. There's a revolving door sometimes. You want a multi-year contract with somebody always, but you have to earn it. And people are going to drop off, which means that you need new blood in your funnel.
Wonderful. Wow, this has been so insightful. Thank you so much, everyone. I know I've taken up quite a bit of time, but that's tremendously helpful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julie. Again, we're all learning together. Your question resonates with most of us. Actually, I personally would love to, connect with Brian on his method. So Brian, I guess maybe we'll take this offline, me and you, to
Anytime.
see if we can host maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour for this group if they are interested to learn from you. Or again, Julie, Chris, Muhammad, if you guys have something that you would like to share with this group as kind of, a focus area that you think this group would benefit from, or even the attendees here, please let me know. Let's work on this offline. Dennis is already going to do 1 session April 29th. So this is again how we learn, how we grow, and this is the beauty of this nice community. Mohammed, do you have anything to add to Julie, or should we move to the next question?
I think my friends already said everything, so you can move to another question.
Awesome. Thanks, Julie. Radiu, we have like 8 minutes before we end up, so this is your chance to fire it up. I'll give you the floor. Go for it.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Ahmed, for inviting me to this forum, for putting this forum together. Nice to meet everyone on the panel. My name is Radiu. I'm a founder of a fintech startup. We provide SaaS solutions to various or diverse niche clients. Currently, we're pre-revenue, so it's still early stages for us, and we're focusing on serving renewable energy developers, particularly solar energy developers, just to help build solutions that help their